the good news is I absolutely love it. The bad news is they only gave me the first 5, so I'm in torment.
I can tell you that it keeps going. 6, 7, and 8 are outstanding, and it ends strong because not only is there so much story in every episode, but the way that the story accumulates in weight and meaning as it goes, the sense of consequence builds, so it gets more and more enjoyable.
And that's been the thing I've loved is it's given all of the characters enough space to develop, whilst at the same time packing it with enough action and everything like that. How much fun has that been doing that over long-form storytelling like this?
I think one of the pleasures of telling a story like this with the quality of actor that we have and the quality of writing that we have is that you get the sort of the psychological and emotional intensity, the moral complexity of long-form storytelling, but you get the aesthetic pleasure of cinema.
Talk about the aesthetic pleasure, it struck me that it seems to have a colouring and a setting of a kind of 1970s Bond in the background as well, but updated for a very modern audience. Was that a conscious decision?
There were a lot of influences. I mean, obviously we knew we were telling a manhunt story, and that requires a certain type of energy, but we also wanted to tell a conspiracy thriller, and we know that the great era for conspiracy thrillers was the early 90s, and we wanted it to sit within the tradition of espionage stories, but we also wanted to have that all of the vicarious pleasure of a globe-trotting spy show. So those were all in the mix.
And one of the things I love about your two leads is the moral ambiguity, in that you have a really bad guy trying to do the best for those he loves, whilst at the same time you've got the person on the side of law and order doing some of the worst things you could imagine. How is that bringing that out in the story?
Well, I think that's the joy of the relationship between the hunter and the hunted, in that you take two people who appear to be polar opposites and you show them as flip sides of the same coin, and they're apparently converging, but they're actually moving in parallel. You know ultimately one of them is going to live and one of them is going to die, but that's most satisfying when you're not sure who you want to prevail.
And just lastly, talking about having the stories going in parallel, you had shooting going in parallel across various countries, various locations. What were the particular challenges of doing that?
I think really with that it's about planning, isn't it? I think that it was like a Jackal type level of meticulousness had to be applied to everything, and I love the way that the character of the Jackal and Eddie's approach to that character sort of permeated everything right down to the planning of the action sequences.
Well, congratulations on the series. It's been fantastic. Lovely to speak to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey!